Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the second class of week 1. Tonight, we're going to be covering the basics of HTML and CSS, HTML5 CSS, and we're going to work on assignment 1 in the assessment we're going to discuss. We've been discussing it as we go with terms and terminology. I will be sending out a sheet with some info on it tonight after class to help with knowing the terms and what everything is. Now remember, if you have any questions, please contact me. All right, so to start tonight, like I said, we're going to go over the basics of HTML5. All right, so let's bring up Dreamweaver, and I'm going to create a new page. I have all these here, yes, but in fact, let's go ahead and quickly this up here. Design 248. The site, we're going to copy it. Delete the files. And now we're going to place the files back into there. All right, there we have it. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and start with learning some of the basics of code. Then we're going to go back and do that again now after we've gone over this. I demonstrated it just to give you an idea. Now I'm going to actually break it down. Then we're going to go over the demonstration once again. All right, so we're going to go File, New, create a new page. All right, create. There we have it. Document title. We're going to do this just HTML5 fun. All right, and you're going to see where that comes into play here in a little while. Right now, document type, HTML5. No CSS right now. Okay, we're going to create. All right, so as you can see, it automatically created a bunch of stuff. So we're going to break this down. Document type, HTML. That tells that we're with HTML5. Each version of HTML has a different statement up there. HTML, this is where the coding starts. Slash HTML is where it ends. There's always a slash to end everything that opens. The head, it's just like the header of a letter. Here we have our meta tags. The meta tags tell us this is going to be the regular alphabet. Title, as you can see, HTML5 fun. The end of the head. Body, close body, and then the close. All right, now, what I'm going to do here is we're going to bring Word up, and we're going to type some stuff up. Okay? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use Word to type up all the HTML5, which is fine. You could use Word, or in fact, rather than Word, what we're going to do is we're going to go close that and close Word all the way. And now we're going to open up a text program. Text Wrangler. All right, on the Mac, it's the Text Wrangler. You have other text programs on your PCs. All right, so as you can tell, it's just basically an unidentified text program. So what we're going to do is now we're going to code it. Coding can be done and saved from a text program. You can do it from Word, but Word adds a bunch of stuff to it, which is called dirty code. It adds code that doesn't need to be there, just because they want their own thing. All right, so first line, like I said, you always identify that it is HTML5. Whoops. Doc type. Notice the caps and smalls. space HTML close. All right, so that there tells us that it's HTML5. Next one, this is where we start the HTML, the coding. All right, so just like a letter, we're going to do the head of the letter. All right. Now we're going to get into our meta tags, because like I said, the meta tag identifies it as the text characters you're using. This one. There's other meta tags that we will get into later in the week, later in the mod, that talk about, do other things that the search engines look for. All right. All meta tags are looked for by the search engine. But this one here is the main one that has to go with everything, because, you know, it tells you what alphabet you're using. Notice again where the caps are versus where they're not. All right, there we have our meta tag and the character set, UTF-8. All right, so next, we're going to put the title of the page. Open, T-I-T-L-E, close. And this one, we're going to put DES. Or actually, we're going to put like what we had over there. HTML5 fun. Now, notice there's no quotes here. All right. And so now we're going to close it. Like I said, every opening, since this is an open, there has to be a closer. So we close it with the forward slash and type the same thing. Whoops. And there we go. Now look, if I do a wrong character, this even tells me it's unmatched. So we go back, and there we have it. All right, so the title of the page is going to be HTML5 Fun. What that is, let's go grab this. Notice how up here it says Design 248, blah, 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 blah. That's what this does. Okay, so on that page for that, it says Design 248 with all that info to it. Okay, so that's how that gets on there. Every page should have a different tag there. Let me close those so I don't have to worry about those. All right, so let's go back to here now. And then that's the head for the header, the head section. So we close it too. All right, so like I said, we always have an open, which is the head right here, and the close. So it's just like a math problem. Okay, let's go down a little. So we're going to start by going in from the outside. So we're going to say 5 plus 2. 6 times 2. Close. 5 plus 2. All right, now notice the ones on the outside, they get done twice. But by doing this, that's an automatic multiplication. So we're going to multiply this times this. The total of that, right? So that's how that works, okay? So you work from the inside out. Well, we kind of do here too, but like the HTML, that'll close at the end. The head closes at the end of the head. Now, after the header, now we're going to do the body, just like a letter. Now the body is the main information for the page that everybody sees. And this is where the difference between a header and a head is. The head is the information that the page reads, the browsers read. You don't see the head, but you see everything in the body and the footer, okay? So now we've got the body, we've started it. We're going to start a section. So this is how you start breaking the body up. into different sections, all right? We put section, all right? Now, you'll notice anything that starts with that is grayed out. In fact, it's that. What that means is this is a note. So whatever's in that note, it's a note to the programmer or other programmers. You don't see it. It's just a note so people know what's going on and such. All right. So this is called a comment. Sorry about that. Okay, this is called a comment. Now, you close the comment the same way. Come on. With there. That closes a comment. So we open it here and we close the comment there. Unlike the commands, we open and we close. All right, so no matter what, it's still open and closed. So that means anything that's in this, the programmers are the only ones who can see it. And we'll play with that a little more as we go. All right, so next, now we're going to set up a division. So a section, and then it divides into divisions, okay? So the div statement. And it's going to be style. Oops. Style. So it's the style that we're making this div in. Equals. Always put the equals in the quote. Color. Colon. 00FF00. If anybody doesn't know, that's green. So 00F00. That is hexadecimal coloring codes. All right. Then we'll close quotes and close that. All right. So now we're going to get into the text. All right. And then we'll go back to a little more of that later. But right now, the text, we're going to talk about the text. Just like Word, you have H1, H2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What those are your paragraph structures. Your H1's the larger text, H2 your headings, okay? Just like in Word, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, and then the P for paragraph. So we're going to go ahead, H1, so open, H1, close. The code, quote, H1, and we're going to make that small lowercase, H1 is the heading 1 code, okay? The heading 1 code. All right, so now that we have that, we're going to close it. Open / H1. Again, we have to have that closed and then close it. All right, now we're going to go through 6. Whoops. Copy. B. So now it's H2. And see, you could copy code to make it so much easier so you're not always repeating it. Four, 5, 5, and 6. All right, so now we finished off the headings. All right. And we're going to close off that division. Remember, we opened a div, so we have to close it. That could close anywhere, but we're going to close it at this point. All right, so open \div close. All right, so that closes that division. Now we're going to talk about, like I said, open P, the paragraph. All right, so a paragraph, the code P is a paragraph. And we're going to close it. All right. Now we're going to add some more in there. Okay, so the paragraph actually it divides it. So if I put a paragraph there and a paragraph here, it makes a page, there's a break between them. But to actually put a page line break, I'll show you that later. But right now, and we're going to put something else into this one. And the following are the 3 types of lists. The following are the 3 types of lists. And enter. All right, so now we're going to do the P again. Ordered list. Now we close it. Did I put an O or a 0? I think I put a 0. There we go. Okay. Open /P close. All right, so now we've closed it. All right, so now we're going to talk about a list. The ordered list, and there's 3 types of lists, and you're going to see them as we go. So this will start to make sense the more we go, okay? So right now, the ordered list, we're going to do OL for ordered list. And it's going to be open LI. LI is just list, okay? So that will work on all of these. So this is going to be 1. Then we're going to close it. All right, copy that. V2 and V3. All right, now we're going to close that list. Whoops. The end. Now we're going to close it. Close the ordered list. All right. Now we're going to do open P for the paragraph again. Unordered lists. Unordered list. Open /P. All right, so now we're going to do our unordered lists. And we open it with unordered UL, unordered list. Okay. So, and you'll notice we do the LI again. So open, LI, closed. So once I get this, I'm going to break this down while showing you what it does. Okay, so we're teaching you the coding now. Then I'm going to take it to that next step. I'm going to copy this, put it into Dreamweaver so you can see what it does. Okay. This way you're getting an idea of the coding as well as what it does. Now you could do this and watch it as you do it in Dreamweaver. Okay. But I wanted you to get used to the coding. I showed you how to do it Monday night, how to do a lot of this stuff with it there, start the page, everything. Now we're getting into the coding, okay? So we have the list. Again, all we have to do, whoa, that should be 3. So now all we have to do are copy those. Okay, so Command V. Enter. Then we're going to close that unordered list. Okay, so next, open P, plain list. Plain list. Whoops. What do I need there? Well, that I didn't mean to hit enter. It goes up there. So the plain list there we go. We don't need series comments. Okay, so the plain list, open /P. So we've just made that. And now we're going to do these again, all right? But you're noticing I'm just copying it. So we're going to come down here and we're going to put that exact same thing. But this time, I'm taking out the type of list. So that shows it is just a plain list. Okay? All right, now we're going to end that section. Remember, we started the section up here, right? So now we're going to close it. So open /section, close. So now I've closed the section. Next, we're going to create a footer. This is the footer at the end of the page. Footer, just like normal, right? Content for a new footer, tag goes here. And what I'm going to put is copyright. And there is a copyright symbol you can use. And it's option G here, all right? So I don't need the word. Copyright 2018. Mike Brooks. Then I'm going to close the footer. All right? And now we've got to close the body because we have that all open. Close BODY. And close the HTML. Everything that's open has to be closed. So open /HTML. All right, so there is a very basic page. Now let's show you what this does. What we're going to do, Command A, C. All right. Now we're going to go over here to Dreamweaver. Notice we have our doc type, our HTML head, the meta title, the header, the head, again, the close it, the body, close body, HTML. What we're going to do is I'm going to paste all that. Now watch. There's everything that we just did. But you notice up here, there's an error. All right? So let's go back and see what I did. Notice I opened H1, H2, H3, but I only closed H1. So we're going to close 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now watch. That's what happens if you don't close it properly. Okay, and as we go down, notice we put a code in here for the color. Well, nothing happened, did it? Style, color. And the reason is you have to put the pound. Now watch. Okay, it didn't do it. Style, pound. Okay, there is an error. And you'll find that, like I was saying the other night, there are some errors that this program's having. And that's one of them. That should have turned the code to that color, to green. So we're going to take that div out and watch what happens when I take it out. See, now it's all in one section. So a div made sections. We're going to put it back. There we go. Now that section should have gone to a color, but it didn't. Okay. Yeah, and that's exact right. Now I'm looking at everything here. So that should have fixed it, but it didn't. All right, now we're going to break this down a little more. Like I said, this is called a comment. Notice the comment's nowhere up here. Okay. Now, if I took that out and made it a P, automatically notice it does the close for you if you do that right. Now we're going to come to here, /P close. And there we go. We just added that above that division. Okay, so this section, and then this is a section 2, but it's not a division. And then we have our footer. Notice that. Okay. So that's how we do this. That's the basics of how HTML is working. All right. Now let's talk about the CSS. How does CSS come into it? CSS is only the beautification of the programming. It makes it look good. All right, let's bring this up. All right, so CSS is the criteria. CSS creates a consistent look that goes from page to page and makes it so programmer or designer can make one change and it changes all of the pages. Oh, typo. All right, so here's our website. It ties into the CSS. And notice that CSS, whatever you put, affects all the pages, no matter what. All right. And that's how the other night we were talking about breaking those down. Okay, so next. Now we come over here. The media. So the CSS breaks down to the media. Media is actually the next step down for CSS. All right. So CSS and now the media. So the website has the subprogram of CSS. Now, the media breaks the CSS down into sections, allowing the programmer or designer to control the selectors for each page. So in other words, I make a media for the phone size, media for the tablet size, and media for the computer size, the desktop. You go a little further. Now we get to the selectors. The selectors actually tie into that media, but I could do a selector for each media and it could look different. I can make this one red, this one blue, and this one green. So it makes them different. And it makes it easier so we're not doing everything together. Then we have the properties. The properties are the individual things that change. For example, I want an outline around the text, or I want the text bold. That's what this properties is. And in turn, that all becomes the CSS code. Okay? I'm going to be sending that out as well as another thing tonight after class, like I said. All right, so now we're going to save this page. So File, Save As, Fun. We're just going to call it Fun. All right, now come over here and take a look. And that is an error sometimes that happens. So if you get that where it doesn't open up, okay, so we're done with this. If you get that so it doesn't open up, what you need to do, oh, I wasn't finished there. I needed that back, so we'll grab it. But again, if you get that so it doesn't open up, so we're going to go Command A, C. All right, come back to here, Command V. All right, now watch, File. Now we're going to Save As. Oh, Save As. I could save it straight to a server, okay, or a copy for the server, or I just Save As. And now look, there is the encoding type right there I was discussing. Line breaks, where, and notice it saves it as HTML. All right, so now we're going to save that as 22. Just a name, okay? Now I'm going to put that into the same place here, right there. Notice we have the fun. Now we're going to have that. So now we can close that. I'm finished with that. But look over here. Notice it didn't show up until I hit refresh. Now it's there. So I open that, and there we have it. Now if I run that, here's what we get. We're going to probably get another blank. Yes. All right, so to get around that blank, because that's a flaw in the program, what we're going to do is go to Finder, and to that program, to that page, to that actual folder, like I was discussing the other night. MOD8, 248, working files. There we go. All right, so now if I double click, great, it didn't do it. So we're going to quit this and see what happens. Sometimes this will help. Like I said, this is a flaw in Dreamweaver right now. It does not always do what we need it to do. So we're going to open Dreamweaver again, see if that helped. Sometimes it helps, sometimes you actually have to reboot. And if it's to the point I have to reboot, I'm not going to do that because that splits the class up and causes issue with the class. All right, so we're going to open it up. Notice, okay, we called it fun, but right here, oh, actually, no, we called it 2222. So we're going to put 222. So it matches that. All right, save, Command S. Now we're going to try to run it again. And it did the same thing. It started to show it, but it went blank. Let's bring this back up and see if that can help. Double click. Okay, let's try this one. There's a couple routes to try. And this is why we send the HTML, all the files, because if that happens, I can at least look at it and say, yes, you did the right thing, okay? Because right here, you could see where we're now having problems because of the program, not because of anything we did. Now I'm going to open that. Same thing. All right, so now let's try to open up the other one, the one that's been there. All right, that one worked for us. And this is an issue sometimes, like I said, with Dreamweaver. All right, so this is why I have you send those so I can just look at them right here. Now, you'll notice nothing's on any of these, okay? They're not tied to anything. Well, I no longer need this page, so I can click it and hit delete. Yes. And we're going to do that with the fun. Delete. Yes. All right. Now let's go back to our file and notice they're gone. So anything I do here happens here. Anything I do here will happen here once I refresh it. Okay? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the index. All right, so the index. Notice this is where we were the other day. Well, I went back, that copy paste, so it's all right back to there. I didn't change, I went back to the beginning. So now you can start to see how all this ties together. So what we're going to do, we bring that up. Now we need to tie in the CSS. Notice source. That's the actual CSS. So we're going to attach an existing one because the CSS is right here. Open. And link, not import, because import brings it into the page and it only affects that page, not everything. Okay. There we go. Now notice it populated the global. The global breaks it down. 1024, that is the desktop. 768, that's the tablet. And 480, 460 is the smartphone. Now our selectors, again, that breaks it down to like the header section here. All right, so there's the section. We'll go to the header. Okay, so that, as you can see, I click on the header over there. That's that whole section. That's what that is. Now, that header is not in one of these. If I click on one of them, that's where it adjusts it, okay? But if I'm outside that, it doesn't affect the ones under there unless I go straight to the ones there, because you'll notice HP banner, it's there twice, 3 times actually, right? So it's got your main one, then now we've got that one, and we've got that one. Okay, so now we've got all that set up. And then now our properties, like I said, the height, width, text, background, outlines, and there's other things to it, okay? So with this, now we're gonna go ahead and continue and redo what we did the other night, all right? So first things first, I click on, that's my image. I wanna go back one more. So that selects that whole section, all right? Well, nothing needs to be done with this select section here. Once I get to the smaller ones, then we will, because, let's go back to here. There we go. And this is what we're making them look like. All right, so here is what the 1024 is supposed to look like. The 1024, 768, and, excuse me, 480, not 460. All right, so 1024, this is what we want to make it look like. All right, so to do this, what we're going to do, we click on this. Well, that's the image. You'll notice it's an actual one by itself. 1024, we don't have an image over here. So we're going to take that image, notice, row the div, so the division, past that division, that's that section. All right, row, column, style, logo. So it goes all the way inside to that logo. There's nothing further in that one. So that's why, notice each one of these goes a little deeper, okay? From div to div to div. And those divs help separate it for the coding purposes. All right, so we hit enter. If you don't hit enter there and you add something here, as soon as you go off of it, that disappears. All right, so watch. All right, so we're going to do this again. There. Now, let's go. We're going to put it over there. All right, now. And it didn't do what it normally does. So, all right, so we have this. So we're going to put it, we're going to left float it. The reason is that brings that text up to it. All right. Now notice we also, all this stuff is a separate, right? So we'll get to that soon. Because this is a div class, then you have another div class. That whole thing's a div. All right. So we'll get to that soon. Because you'll notice all this text is not in here. So that's throwing you for a loop. All right, so now what I want to do, I have this made. And this is where we showed it the other night. I'm going to click on services. Well, I don't want to go all the way in. Let's just go to here. And first, let's go back to here to this. What I want to do is I'm going to add a margin on it. Okay, so the margin is outside. So anything outside that box of it, okay? Padding is the inside of it so that the text is not touching the walls. And position, you could take it over and down on the screen. All right, so right now, after the logo, we want to put a percentage right here. We're going to go 30%. What that is it's 30% of the width. So this here is 30% of the total width of that section. All right, so now I can add this. So we go click here. And notice I'm on the A. Well, watch what happens when I do the A. So we're going to go plus ULLIA. All right, now let's go to the text and try to get rid of line style, list style type, undefined. We're going to say none. Notice that did not do anything because we're too far in. All right, so let's go back to the LI. UL is the whole thing. Okay, so we'll try there. And this is one of the things I hate about not making my own site. When I'm using a template, you're always guessing which one to go on. All right, there we go. That worked. That got rid of it. So next, what we need to do, come back up. Now watch when I float left. Brought all that up. Okay. So that means that was too early to float left because I brought this up. So we're going to delete that one. Now let's go ahead and go one deeper. Now we're on the A. Now watch as I add that. And now the float left. See how that broke those up? All right, now the width, now we get to play with that. All right, so let's go up to here, width. Pixels. Now watch. As I give it the width, it gives me those. And then I'm going to go back. That 30% wasn't enough. Let's hit enter. Go back to here. Go up 40. All right, and as you can see, 45 is too much. 44, let's go to 40. All right, and there we have it. Those are now set, but notice they're underlined. All right, now we can go to text, variant font, weight, align, decoration. Well, we click underline, nothing happens on that. So what we have to actually do to do that, an easiest way, because this is going to be on all 3 pages that it doesn't have an underline. So what we do, see this where it says page properties, or you come up to file, page properties, same thing. Links, yes. Okay, so the links, yes. I want the link, and so now I need to go grab a color first, because I want the links to also be this dark green. So I copied that to the clipboard. All right, now let's go back to page properties, to the links, yes. Okay, so I'm going to make that Command V. Just all the same, and never underlay. And okay, and see how that got rid of that and made it that. So now I could also come down here and the font weight, we can make it bold. But notice nothing happened again. Same thing. That one, you want to change on page properties under the links. Underline, same as page font. Okay, so we're using that. Normal, italic, oblique, or bold. Now watch when I apply. There we have it. Okay, and okay. Now that is going to be that way on all the pages because I did it there. Now make sure to go back, File, save all related files, File, save all. That way everything is saved. All right, so next, now you notice this is up here, right? So we're going to go back to the banner, and notice here's the banner. I'm going to add a color to the banner just so you can see it. Nothing happened except the text, right? Well, that's all in the banner. This whole thing, the header, the visual. Now we're in here, down here. See how that outlines that? But if I go back up, and see, by the way, this here, this style, this CSS here, that is for the page. If I change it here, it doesn't change all the pages. But this is now the CSS for those. Okay? All right, so let's go back down. We have our header. All right, now the header, notice how small the header is. So we're going to go back here, and I'm going to add a header, the body header. And I am going to make its height, double click, delete, 10. All right, look, that shrank it even more. So now we're going to just use Shift up. There's 100. There's 140. Well, let's go to 150. There we go. Now it's equal. And notice, now we are down to here, right? And you can see, now let's go ahead and now we could talk about this. We have our line live, which our live shows us here. Notice the live is off here, right? Well, that's because this picture is set in the wrong spot. As I click on it, notice that's the banner. All right, so the banner, height 560. Okay. Now we need to move it down though. So watch, I could do this here. Make it equal. Or we could take it right there. And there we have it. Notice I did that in the banner. All right, so now I have everything lined up here. Let's go take a look. We're going to save everything first. File, save all related. File, save all. All right, now what we're going to do from there is go back, and then we're going to take a look at this page. And there we have it. But notice these are up so high. They need to come down. All right. Like I said, we create a page, and sometimes it works. If you don't create it in Dreamweaver, that sometimes throws things off. So now what we need to do, we've got this. Notice this is down. It's not so far up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the nav, and we're going to just go to there and hold my shift up. Notice that moves the whole thing, right? So let's go to this next one and do it there. So sometimes you just have to figure out which one you're on to do that, like I was showing. All right, now we're going to save that. File, save all related, file, save all. And this is live view, notice. Now if I go back, oh, we're short. So at 10:24, notice this is over. So first, we're going to go to banner. Let's see, actually we want to go to the logo. And we're going to take that down. Okay. All right, so now we're going to save this. File, save all, file, save all related. Now file, save all, and watch the difference. Now we have everything set up, but again, now if I go down, see, now we're on the tablet size, and there's the phone size. So that right there is 1200. This goes down. And so it's hard to tell right there where it goes to the phone because we don't have that set up yet. All right. All right, so now let's go back. So I want to do this section. All right, now we see this is here. Well, we want to take that all over, all right? So first things first, what do? Well, we come down to here, and since that's in there, we're going to do H3. Click on it, and we're going to move it over. So we add the banner H3. Watch. I'm going to put it right there. So, okay, that was 580. Now, instead of putting a number, let's go ahead and put 40%. Okay, it's not quite enough. All right, so 60%. Now we're going to have to do that with this. So we add another one. The H1, 60%. Now, see, that's too much for that one, right? So we're going to go down to there. So that means this one needs to go down more so that they're aligned. Okay, there we go. And now also notice that this button's right there. So we're going to put a little space between it. Now it's the same as above. That's too much. There we go. Okay, so there we have it. Now we're going to take that button and move it over. But guess what? See how I lost that? Why did I lose it? Well, I did not hit enter. Okay. There we go. Enter 55%, 60%. Well, let's go back and try to get that to 60. Nope, not going to work. So 55. Make sure to hit enter. You go to 55. I'm just using my keys. There we go. Perfect. Now the down is still there. So now all I have to do is click on that one and add it right there. Now the button. All right, the button, 60%. Too much again? All right, enter. Now we're going to save. File, save all related, and save all. And we take a peekaboo. And look, we have it there. Now, I don't like where that's at, okay? So what I'm going to do is move it down because I think that's too much white space here. But the thing is, his axe points right to it. So that would work. But now watch when I come in. See how it moves? And nothing's cut off. That's what we need right there. So that is setting that up. All right, so now we're set up for this section. Now we need to set up these two sections, right? Well, let's go over here and go down. Notice the colors aren't there, right? So without those colors, now we have to set all that up. So we're going to take this section. All right. So now we take that section and it's going to be the light blue with all white. Okay. All right, so to get the light blue, now I've cheated. I went and got that blue earlier. So I have it here, all right? So now I select that. And I'm gonna go over here, and now I'm going to come down here, and we're going to add another section. Now notice, this is called the tan box, okay? Because that's what they call this here. If you wanna change it, you could to blue, just to keep things straight. All right? So what we're going to do, background. Background is blue. And there we have it. But all the text is white. So let's try that. Let's see what happens when I put white here. To do that, it's pound 6Fs. And oh, there we go. So that just changed that. Now we're not going to move any of this yet, but I am going to move that. But first things first, well, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that. So that paragraph, so we're going to choose it, right? And now we're going to go down to 10. All right, there we have that. That's now centered on it, right? But notice the button is even white. So now we click on the button and we add the button. Notice tan. So it keeps going further out the further more we go in. All right, so now with this, we add that, go to the text, we want it white. So pound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, enter. And there we go. But notice this is still longer. So what we need to do is go back to that one and adjust its size. Width is going to be 50%. And we're going to do a float left. Notice how that brings that up. All right, so now we go down to here. Okay, that's all. And that one, notice, is the green. Okay, and all white. So we're going to go back and see this is the dark box. So we're going to make it the green. So we're going to grab this. So green. All right. Now, all right, so we've got that. Now we're going to add this next section. So there we go. Notice it's the box dash dark. All right, so the background. There's the green. We're going to see. Now we're going to do the P, which is this. Notice. So add. And that one, all we have to do is come down here. Okay, that lines that up. See how those are now the same size? And we're going to go back to here and make it float left. That puts it right there. Now notice there's a lot of space here. So if we take that float left out, this is what we get. So watch this. File, save all related, save all, in Chrome. All right, see how that works? So we don't have to really put that a float left. If we do, well, I need to set it at the 50%. So really, I could keep that step out, but to keep things consistent, we're going to add it back in, okay? All right, so let's go back here. That section, dark, we're gonna go width, 50%. And notice it took it down. So what we need to do now is add that. Now that will keep that no matter what size we get at, okay? Now we need to add the next step, which is this one. So our text, pound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really? Oh, I see what's wrong. Ah. Okay, remember I said if you don't hit enter, it goes away? Guess what? There's the plus. Now, if I don't hit the enter, oh, now it's doing it. Now it's behaving. Okay, so just a pound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there we have it. But notice it didn't change it. Okay, I'm going to delete that. Now we're going to try this one more time. So we're going to add the button, enter, text, pound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Now we got it working. All right, so now we're going to save everything again. File, save all related files. Let's go back and look. Now we have all the pictures. So these are going to be 25% each, right? So let's go back. All right, so a picture. Now we're going to click on the picture. Notice, if we look here, each of these is a column, all right? So it's going to be 1/4. So we're going to add that, all right? Now, that 1/4, the width is going to be 25%. All right, so there we have that. Now it's 25% wide. So I'm going to click on the image. All right. So we're going to try something here just to see if it works. And sure enough, look, all the images came into place, kind of. They're not quite fitting. So what we need to do, let's click on the image. And we're going to go right here and say percentage. Let's do a 25%. And see how that did 25% of that section? So that's why that doesn't work. So if we want, we can actually put 50. Almost there. In fact, that would give us those lines in between. Personally, I hate that. It's too much white space. Okay? Now, that's one way of doing it. Another, come over here, click. Now the image. %. And see what that did? That just did it to all of them for that whole section. So let's do 100%. All right, now, see how that now has shrank all the others? The others fit, but not that one. Okay, so we have the image. but the others went right into place. So that should tell you right there, let's do a 95%. Okay. Now they're starting to go into place. But that one's still tall, right? So let's go down here and do that. Nothing happened. Okay. So that's not where we adjust that. And this is where you have to play because, well, these are not, like I said, this is the problem with having a template. So let's get rid of all that. Okay, so that one's set at 240. And let's actually make it 60. Okay, 55. All right, 55 almost works. 53 is one too short. All right, so there we have that. Now notice it's overlapped just a little. So we don't really want that, do we? 50, 53.5. Yeah, notice it rounds down, okay? All right, so we're going to go back to here, click on that. I'm going to go back to here. This should be adjusting it, width minus. Let's lock these in. We're going to put percent. All right, so now you're seeing it's starting to adjust it. And notice, again, that's the margin. So we're not wanting to adjust the margin, are we? All right, padding, position. Well, let's see, let's turn those off and it takes them down. But it's still not fitting inside that box. So we're going to take that one and add it again. And that's the image. So that should affect all of these images. Percent. 100%. There we go, 100%. And the height, because that's 25%. And look, there we now have that picture set right. We come down here, and there we go. But it still didn't bring them up because, well, let's see. One-fourth. Okay. So we're going to put that back to here. And there we have it. Now it's working. Okay. And I've got that percentage so that no matter what, it works. Let's take a look here, 25. All right. Now we're going to save all, file. Save all related. Save all. Now watch. All right, so we scroll down and see how that fits until we go to that next one. All right, so let's go back to the directions. For the assignment, okay, the assignment. Okay, after downloading, blah, 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 blah. Now, part 2. Okay, we've done this. This is setting it up. Part 2, open it, change the title to read Lawn Care and Landscaping. All right, remember how I was talking about that title. So we're going to go back to here, back up, Oh, good. It's there. So we don't have to change that. All right, next. Attached provided style sheet. Did that. Style the header navigation logo is provided in the mockup, okay? For all 3 screen sizes. Okay, so the header, navigation, and logo placements. So by going as where I did, I went further. You just have to do on this section the header, the navigation, and logo. Okay, but there's nothing, it doesn't hurt to actually play with those others for all 3 screen sizes. Check to make sure that they've been named correctly. Okay, so the next one, now we're going to go back. Notice, now we go to the 768. See how this is? All right, well, let's take a look. I click on the section of the header. All right, so now all I have to do is go 768. We are here again. All right, so I have my body, banner. Now I click here. Notice that's the header. I don't have the header, so let's add the header. All right, now if we go look, the header is centered. Everything's centered on it, okay? So let's go back over to here. Now we want it all centered. But notice, see how these are already bold? I don't have to adjust that part. But now the header, there, center. There, everything's centered. Click here. The LI, add the LI. Text. Go down here to the list style. None. They're gone. Now, if you wanted, for example, see how that changes? You could change them, but for this, we're going to 0. Now, we want those lined up, so I click smaller and go one more step. All right, and now, go back up here, go left. Now, notice how close they are, and they're not centered, right? Well, now, we have to space them out. All right, so we're going to go up here, width, and this one can be pixels because they don't go over the amount, right? And that should be enough. And then let's move them over right here. And notice, what did I forget? I didn't hit enter. Okay, now hit the enter. Now I can go back up here, width, auto, margin, and that puts them right there. But notice I did pixels. So if this moves, those stay out there. It doesn't move proportionately. Watch. File, save all, and I wanted to save all related. All right, here we go. Google Chrome. See, I didn't save everything. So that's why you save all files, then save all. Okay. So let's go back to here, Google Chrome. Now watch as I go in shorter. Right, we hit and see. Oh, it's actually working the way it's supposed to for a change. Okay, so we're going to leave that. All right, now that we have that set up, now we go to here. Okay, notice how tall this is. All right, so the banner, well, now we need to increase the banner. So the height. Clear this, there we go. Pixels. Notice I'm starting to get what I need. I did that. Okay, I don't want that going larger. There we go. All right, so now we have that. So this is going to come over here, just like we did before. So the H3 down here. Okay. Now we're going to go to this next one. Same thing. Now we'll go over until we hit that spot. Now, interesting thing, take a look at this one. Because of this throws this off, so we won't be able to line it up that same way. So I'm going to fix that here later, here in a few. So right now, we're going to take that to there. Enter, go back up. Okay. Enter. Now we're going to go back to here. Add that 10. Notice that should be white. Well, we'll leave it green actually. Click on the button. When we add the button, enter. Take it over there. All right, it's about centered. Might be a little off. All right, there we go. All right, now we come up here to the banner, the H3. Now we'll take it down. All right, notice how this makes this disappear, or we can take it back up. And there we go. Perfect, right there. Excuse me, sorry about that. All right, so now we're going to go File, Save All Related, then Save All. Now watch. All right, so now we have it here, and we have it here. All right, next thing, well, now we have to do these two sections. Let's go take a look. The 768, they're 2, all right? So again, they're 50%, right? So let's go over. Click. Here, we add it. There's the 10. And the 10 was blue, so we're going to grab the blue. Background, blue. All the text should be white to match. Text. Pound 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And let's see, 50%. So we're going to click on it. Width, 50%. And we're going to float left. All right, now we just need to set up the button. So the button, again, which we'll go to here and use that one, that paragraph. Again, down here, go up. There we go. All right, and there we have it. Now we're going to set up the button. All right, so now we set up the button. Add the button. Text again. Pound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Set up. All right, now we go to this one. This one's the tan box, remember. So now we add enter. Let's go grab my green. And these you can just go out and grab from the site, like I did, grab from the pictures and set your library up so you have everything you need. Because you'll notice here in a short while, I missed one thing, okay? All right, now, so now I've got that. Now we're going to change the background. And V, there we go. So now it's the green. And we're going to go back to the top. Remember, the width is 50%. And we're going to float left. There we go. Now the height. Well, the height gets adjusted right here. So we're going to add that P. Go back up. Right here. All right, and there we have that one. And then we want the button. Same thing. So now the button. Remember, all we have to do is make that text white. And there we go. So we now have that set up. So file, save all related. All right, there we go. So next we come to this. So now we're going to do our 1/2 again, right? So we add here, enter. Now remember, this is 50% instead of 1/4 now. All right. So click on it. Let's see, here's our 1/4 width, 50%. All right. So notice that changes that to that, and we're going to do float left. That puts them two side by side. But again, the pictures aren't right, right? So now the pictures, now we're going to add the pictures. The image width, 100%. Height, notice that stretches it. The height is 50% to keep it proportional. All right, and those two are now proportional. Those two are now proportional. And guess what? We're at the same spot as we were with that one. Okay, so now we go File, Save All Related, Save All. So next, let's test it. Perfect. So now we're on to the smartphone bit. Okay. All right, now we're going to go do that. All right, for the smartphone, notice 480 mobile, right? Okay, so you saw before 768. Let's go take a look. 768. Minimum width, 768. That means it's not going to go smaller for that area. So now we need to add one. Add a query. Minimum width. What was it? Let's go take a look. 480. All right, so minimum width, 480. Okay, now I click here, and that sets up everything here. Now, the other thing, remember, I was talking about, I missed something. We're going to grab this green. All right? But let's go back to here. See how that's kind of a gray in the background? Here it's not. It's all white. So we're going to use that gray because that's what it is. All right? Now, what we're going to do, remember how I went File, Page Properties, Appearance, Background Color, and V, Apply. Okay, okay. Now watch. See, that's now that gray. So that's how you fix that. and it's fixed on all of them because I did it on the page. All right. So now, all right, so this is where we used to get a big issue with Dreamweaver. From this point forward, we will see if we get it again. All right. Now, what I want to do is set this up. We're going to save everything. Okay. All related files. Save all. And we're going to close it. What I want to do is we're going to go to that folder. Because if it does what it usually used to do, this whole thing goes back to almost the beginning and we have to start over. Because there is a flaw where it rewrites the code. So what we're going to do is we are going to duplicate. So now I have a copy, all right? But I'm still tied to this one. All right, so no matter what, I'm still using that one, but I have a backup to go to. Because if it does it again, then we're going to have to alter the assignment. All right, so now let's go back to Dreamweaver. All right, so we're here. Let's bring up index. All right. Blah, 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 blah. And look what happened. Why is that? We just lost everything. See what I mean? So what I'm going to do, lawn care site, make sure we're on the site. So working files, the site, not the copy. Choose. Okay, save. Designer. See? As soon as I did that, we lost it. So what we're going to do, let's try to go back. And this is the spot where we lose it all the time, and it does this. Okay? Notice we went backwards big time. Back to where we were to begin with, almost. There's still some things there, but the CSS has changed again. So what we're going to try to do is see if we can retie that to the other one. Okay, choose images. Save. Okay. And we're going to delete the source. And we're going to add the source again. Attach, browse. And see, we lost it. We lost everything we just did. Oh, part of it's back. Okay, so we were able to get part of it back. That's a good thing. All right, so now let's go ahead and continue from there. Let's go ahead and now see if I could tie the other one back, okay? So we're going to delete this temporarily. Come back to here. We're going to tie it to the original. And this is a problem, like I said, one of the biggest problems. And most of the problems is Adobe used to work in-house on everything. Now they outsource. Outsourcing could be good as long as all the teams communicate. Here's a good example of them not communicating. And guess what? See, now it's back. It's working again. So sometimes you may have to take that long path to get everything to work again. This isn't quite right, but for the most part, everything else is good. So that let's go ahead and come to here. Remember, that's that one. Yep, that's that one. But see how it's down and not up? So what we're going to do, we're going to move it down. Oh, we'll move it right back to there so it's lined up again. All right, there we go. Save. See if that messed anything up. Nope, that time it worked. Okay, so you just saw my workaround. It just put everything back once we deleted the connections and put the connections back. The fun part of this. All right, so now let's go take a look at Photoshop again. Notice these are all up and down. So let's go over here. So now, first things first, we'll go here, add a rule, the body header, and we're going to center it. Okay, next. Well, the only thing we have to do on these is eliminate that, right? So let's add the text again. The style type, none. There we go. And what we're going to do is let's add 5 here. All right, and there we have it. That's set up. Now it looks like that. So now we do the pictures. Okay. Now we do this. All right, so that, now we're going to choose that section, the HP banner, add it. That's the H3. We don't want that. So just hit escape, go outward. There we go. Or you could have just, if I'm on there, all I have to do is click back to that banner like that. See, that takes me back to the div. Okay, that's where those divs come in handy. I can go back and back and back or forward. All right, so now I need to make that the right height. So we add banner height. Go until the picture starts to fluctuate. See that? See how that picture changed there? So we want it right there. All right, now this, well, that's kind of hard to see up there, but now all we have to do, first, we're going to click on this one. Well, first, I want to actually click on this. So let's add that. I'm going to change that to the white. Yes, I'm doing this one backwards, but there's a reason. So the text, pound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, enter. There we go. Now, we're going to go to here. So I'm going to go up one. Now, see how that puts it right in the same place, just above it? All right, so there. Ten, yep. Go up one more again. Excuse me for a second. All right, now what I need to do, because now we're in the banner, now I need to go to the H3. So we're going to add the H3. Now you could have just added them and went backwards, but all right, now I'm going to just take that down to right there. There we go. That works perfect, right? All right, so now I've got all that. So we're going to go File, Save All Related Files. File, Save All. Right? Inspiration Gallery. All right, so we click here, remember, and that's going to be, that's the tan one, so it's the blue one. All right, now add the tan, background, blue, text. We're looking really good because notice we don't have to really do any shrinking here because they're all in order, right? If we come over here, they're all in order. So there, I just need to move that one down, but this is all supposed to be white, right? So let's go to the text. Pound. Okay. The only thing difference that, but now we've got to add the P, the paragraph again. Go up right here, the 10. Okay. All right, there we have it. And I goofed, so let's do 16 again. Whoops. Let's go back to here. Go. All right, there we have it. Now enter. Remember to hit that enter. All right, now we add the button. Make the text there white. I know this is a lot of information, but remember, you have the recording you can watch. All right, so now we need the other green right here. So we're going to add that one. Background. Okay, all text is already white. So here, we're going to add one. Come down. There we go. Enter. Add, whoops. Don't add a double. If you add a second one, they will conflict and start to argue. And you'll most likely get an error. So we'll add the button. And the text for the button is going to be white. Okay, now we're going to save everything. File, save all related files, file, save all. All right, now let's run it. And look, we have that. We come in, it goes down. And then we go to the smartphone. And by the way, this one's now working. All right, so there we have it. All right. All right, so now that gives us assignment 1. All right, so to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to zip this root folder, copy this, name it that. All right, so we come back to here, lawn care site. Notice, design 248, lawn care site. Yep, now we're going to right click, compress. All right, so now it's compressed right here. So I have it there twice. And you're going to rename it design 248 underscore first last. Assignment 1 zip. And that's what you're submitting for your assignment. All right. Next, now that moves us into the assessment. All right, now the assessment, understand, apply that. Okay, now for the assessment, open it. Okay, so we've already done the rest. Now we're going to work on the footer. All right. So page in your root folder and add any necessary HTML structure and style the footer content with CSS per the PSD mockup provided. Once the footer and header are exactly the way they should, screen sizes, then duplicate the index file and make these copies. All right, so we're going to do that in a minute. But right now, let's get the footers. All right, so the footer. Let's go back to here. Here's the footer. Now, the footer sometimes has some issues and doesn't like to cooperate because it's a thing. It's a banner. I mean, a template, okay? And as you saw, things don't always cooperate when they're built outside of Dreamweaver, and this template wasn't built into Dreamweaver. It was built outside. So that's where some of these issues, but this is what we want it to look like, right? All right, so this green, let's take a look at that's this one right here, right? So that's what we're going to do. And then we have these to add. All right, so let's go over here. First things first, we click on the footer. Well, the footer is going to go at the very bottom. All right, so let's go to the 1024 here, and we're going to add the footer. Really? What'd you do? Let's try this again. There we go. All right, now we're going to add the footer. There we go. All right, so the footer text. Now, if I scroll down and did this, see, that puts it all right into that section already. That's where it needs to go. But next, what I want to do is take this, and we're going to convert it to that, okay? So the footer, we're here, this is the body, so we need the footer. Now watch what happens when I put that color on the background of the footer, okay? So we take the footer and background, and that does that. Well, what we want is that to be 100%. So the footer width 100%. But notice it didn't go out, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this off. See, it went up. Now if I do this, now it's down there by itself at 100%, and it's not doing it. Why not? That's the text. Let me take a look at this code. I want it split. Click on the footer. All right, there we go. And we're going to have to do that to the footer and not the footer text. You're seeing now why. So let's go back. Whoa, 24, footer text, delete. All right, now we're going to do it to the footer. And you know what? There's an error right there in this template. Footer, there we go. Now it closes. All right, so we're going to go to here, scroll to the bottom. Now we're going to add it. There we go. Now we have our footer. Right, the footer, come down here. Again, we're going to, instead of a float left, we're going to do a clear left. And that puts it all the way down there at the bottom. Now that background, let's go grab it. So we can do the background color. See the difference between the actual text section and the footer itself. All right, and there we have that. Now, the footer itself, now we're going to do the footer text. All right, so now we click on the footer text. All right, so the footer text is next. And I can use the div if I want. So we're going to do this. And width, we want the width 50%. Okay, but notice that did it for that whole thing, all right? it needs to do it just for the text. So hit enter, hit escape, and we're going to delete that out. All right, there we go. Now, I need to go back to that section, to the footer text, not to all those other things, right? So as you saw, that will not work, and this is why. So now the width is 50%. Now that puts that right there. Okay, so let's go take a look at 50%. Well, actually, that goes out further, so it should be 60%. So let's take that to 60. And there we go. Now it's set up right. Okay, but next, notice there's this. I'm going to float it left. Float left. See what happens? So we don't want to float that left. What we need to do now is we're going to add some symbols. I'm going to put them right here. All right, so we're going to go to Insert, Image. Notice we have Facebook. Okay, so there's that. And then we have our next one. Notice it's doing it right here on the div. So we're going to input another image. And one last one. All right, so now we have our images here, right? Okay, so now for those, what we're going to do for the images, we're going to come over here and we are going to go to our designer, add the image, and watch what happens if I left float it. See, it puts that one up there, but notice it didn't take the others. Okay. Well, it put it all on that same line, right? So we take this out, and that's not going to affect it, is it? Right? See, so there's no effect to it. So what we want to do is, first things first, we're going to copy those, okay? So copy, Command C, delete. So now we're going to insert a section. All right, so we're going to go back here, and now I want to insert div. There we go. Come on. Insert. Wrap around the section, so right there where it's at. And notice that went all the way around. Okay, so we don't want to do that. Okay, so I just added the div right there. All right, I added an extra div. So we're going to close for a minute. Don't save. Now we're going to go back in and do this again. So don't save. Now let's bring this all back up, and we're going to do this again. All right, as you see, we have everything working here for the 1024. All right, now we're going to choose the footer. Notice that's the footer. CSS Designer, 1024. Scroll down, and now we're going to add the footer again. Now the footer, first things first. If I do this, it takes it all down there to the bottom where it should be, right? So the footer is now going to become that background color. So we take it, Go to the background, Command V, and there we have that. Now we adjust this. Okay, now you'll see that there's a div class here. All right. It's just like above, but we're doing the graphics after it. Okay, so that's a div column. And it's the footer text. It goes all the way in. All right. So this is where we're at. All right, the footer text. We're going to make it 60%. So we're going to add the footer text. Width 60%. Notice it didn't change. Why? Well, that's because that's not the width. I changed the minimum width. Remember, like I said before, 60%. It has to be the width. The minimum width is as small as it's going to go. All right, now, after that, now we're going to this. We're going to float left. And look how that takes it out. So to fix that, now what we need to do is go back to the footer, and we're going to adjust the height on the footer. All right, see how that did that? Now we could probably go down to 70. There we go. All right, now because of that, now I'm going to right here, insert images. Now, if I do this backwards, this is fun. So we're going to do this backwards. Insert image. So Twitter, image, Pinterest, image, Facebook. All right, so now I have all those in there. And what I'm going to do to make this look good is just do that. All right, now that I have those, let's go back to design, go to the very bottom, 1024, to here, add. Now we're on that image. Now watch what happens when I do float right. It switches them around, but puts it right there. Okay, now if we look, that's what we want, but we need a spacing between them. All right, so now what we're going to do is click on the image again. So now I have that image, and we're going to put the space in between them. About 20. Guess pretty much for you, okay? And there we go. All right, so that, but as you can see, now takes up and does what that one's supposed to look like, right? So now we're going to save this file, save all related files, save all. Next, well, take a look. This one puts them above it, okay? So now we're going to go back to here, scroll down, all right? So we need to take the footer at 768, add the footer, and the footer is going to do that. Grab the color, background, okay. Notice it takes up half of it on that one, but it's centered. All right, so now we want the text, the footer text. We're going to add it, footer text, and it's going to be Go to text center. All right, so we have that. Now we need to move those up. All right, so let's go back up here and do a float left. All right, see how nothing's happening? So these need to be turned off. What we need to do is take those and put them above it. So we go back to this, and we're going to copy that. Now watch, this will actually throw all the pages off if I move this. So to fix that, one of the ways to do this is we're going to add it as the image. And we're going to go back to here. Clear it. We do the inner. Notice nothing happens. So it's none of those. We go to here. And it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah, it's starting to freeze up. All right, so now what we need to do is take a look. Oh, that takes a lot less up. So let's do that. That's right. So we're going to take a lot less up on this. So we're on the text, the footer text, width. Let's go to the 60% again. And we're going to center that. But actually we want longer than that, more than 60%. 10. And now we're going to move that over. And it's pixels, so we're going to put it over actually 20%. 10%. There we go. All right, now these, let's grab the images. And see, this template's not doing what it's supposed to do. Those, yeah, see, this template's not doing what it's supposed to do. So what I'm going to do is instead, we're just going to put those down below. We do this one, so it switches them around. Go up to here. Yeah. And actually clear these out. Clear. Okay. So what we're going to do, because this template does not want to work, sometimes it will, sometimes it won't, is we're going to take those and center them. So everything in the footer needs to be centered. So let's go back to the footer, text, center. Now notice these are backwards again. So let's go to the images. Go to here, that puts them over there. And this one does not want to work the way it's supposed to. So we're just going to do this, okay? So now we're going to left, and we're going to do the same thing here. And that means that the footer now has a height to it. All right. And then these, we're going to do the same thing. Put a space around them with the images. And we're going to save it as is. All right. Save all related. Save all. Quickly do this. We're almost finished, by the way. And then this one, we're going to do, you'd set it up the same way. Now, so let's go to here. All right. And we're going to do that. But these will be, as you can see, above it, but I'm going to put them below it. So this, now we're going to the footer. Go to here, go down, add the footer. And the color, we're going to grab the color. Background. There we go. This is, and everything's going to be centered, so we're going to just click on the footer. So the footer, text, center. See how it centered everything? But you'll notice as soon as we hit this, yeah, right, the footer. Now those will add the image, but watch as soon as we hit that left, it puts them over there again. So, but it switches them around. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this one down, that. We're going to add that to the text. Yeah, it doesn't want to do it now. Okay, so we're just going to take those. The footer. Footer text. Let's go take a look. What did I do here with the footer text? Show set shows everything I did. So 60% and float. Ah, that's what I got to do. So let's go back to here. Footer text. Take a look. Yeah, I don't really have anything there except that. So we're going to clear it. Float. There we go. Now it did it. And look what happened. I just messed up the top. So that is what I was talking about earlier. It'll mess everything up when you hit a certain point. All right, so let's go back and see what happened here really quick. Body header, logo. On that one. Body header. Let's go back up to there and see what happened there. That one's fine, almost. Okay, the body header. But you're starting to see now what I meant by it will delete its own. Take a look. We're missing that being set up. So just be aware, okay? If you want to skip doing the bottom, because that's where things get messed up on this one, that's fine. Don't do the footer. Because now what we have to do is I'll have to go backwards and do all that again. But let's see this one more time. See if I can open it and see if it came back. And guess what? No. That one's messed up. Okay, we can live with that one being messed up for now. But if you don't want to do the footer because of all this issue, don't worry about doing the footer. All right. All right, now what we want to do is we want to go back to here. Let's go back to the directions. All right, once the footer and header are exactly the way. Okay, so again, you could skip that. Like I said, now, one of your 4 copies rename. We're going to make 4 copies of this. All right, so open the index page in your root folder and add any necessary. Okay, so we did that. Once the footer and header are exactly what we want, they should look the screen sizes. Then duplicate the index page 4 times. All right, so I close this. Right click and edit, duplicate. Duplicate. And duplicate. All right, so now I've duplicated them. Go back. All right, 1, lawn care landscaping service. Right, that's my initial. That's going to be my services. All right, landscaping services. So we're going to call this one services. We're going to copy that. Go back. Okay, we're done with this for the night. All right, now we're going to go here. We'll enter. We're going to rename. So edit, rename, services, open it, and we're going to rename this right here, the title, Command V. All right, close, save. All right, that one's done. Lawn care, landscaping gallery, Command C. And this one's called gallery. So I could also just double click over here. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm going to close that. See? And this one is Gallary, gallery HTML. Open it. And on the title, Command V. Save. And the last one, so meet the landscaping crew, Command C, and this one's called crew. This up here, make this a little easier. So we go here, crew, open it up. And V. All right, save. All right, now what you're going to do on the last copy, rename it contact. Oh, I'm missing one. I only did 3 copies. So we're going to come back up, rename, edit, duplicate. So contact. We're going to go back to here. So on contact, that's going to be the title of that page. And I apologize for this going over. That's what happens with this program, when this program does its bad thing. All right, so now I have my contacts. So I have my pages all made. All right. All right. Test each page, see if they correctly. Title tag. All right, now match the new page name. All right, so now you're going to take this folder again and zip it. I'm going to go into here. There we go. Now we're going to zip that folder again. So we're going to compress. Then we're going to rename it. What? There we go. And notice the naming convention is a little different. Okay, I'm not going to be really picky on that, as long as you have your name to it. All right, and there's your assessment. That's what you're turning in. All right. All right, so that completes this. That shows you what you're doing for your assignment and your assessment. Now, one more thing, linking the pages. To do this, what you're going to do, index. Okay, let's bring the index up. Now, I'm going to click on this. Now, notice, I click on services. See where this pound is? All right, now there's a couple ways I could do it. This is pound. I could go to right here and services. Okay, see now it's tied to the services. Gallery. And now I could do this to the gallery. Notice how that did the same thing. So we're going to do that again to the crew. Just take this bullseye, take it to crew. And we're going to do that here on the contact and contact. All right, and then we're going to save that. Now, you're going to do that on every one of them. Now, what you could do for fun is take this logo and tie it into the index on each one. That way, you're always able to go back to this page. Otherwise, you're just bouncing between those pages. All right, so that's how you link it. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know. And I look forward to seeing your projects. Have a nice evening. And I'll see you in chat.